2倍速ってこんなもん。風が吹き、この一種で十分。我々はとうに嵐の国に守るべき者のために打ち崩せ。たまには真面目に行こっか。うちのとっておきをくれ。
So, my level 70 March can solo Memory of Chaos 4. I don't know how useful that is, but pretty sure she does more damage than Tectone's Kafka. It took some time, but I can finally say that I'm pretty happy with March 7th, and she's got a lot more to go. You'll see what I mean once I show you the build at the end, but there's so much potential for her DPS. I think after many hours of trying her out, I've decided the best way to showcase her is as a sub DPS slash ice weakness breaker. Normally I do Memory of Chaos 10, but unfortunately we're just gonna have to wait until 1.3. There's so few ice weak enemies, and I want to showcase how a more mediocre built March does as far as damage goes, so we're here in stage 9. I just wanted to quickly thank you all. We're now over 7,000 subscribers and 10k is in sight. So if you're enjoying these videos, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. You won't regret it. Anyway, March does a lot of things, and even her DPS build isn't bad. So I have her on attack percent boots sometimes, but most of the time you want speed boots, and then sometimes I'll have an ER rope, sometimes I'll have an attack percent rope. What I want to do in the future is pick up the Battle Pass light cone. I think it's called This Is Me with March's picture on it, and maybe superimpose that to S5 eventually. But that for sure will be the best for her ult damage and possibly the best overall. Maybe we'll get another Preservation limited 5-star cone eventually, but for now I'm playing Drip Impact where I try to match light cones to the wearers even if they're not optimal, so I think there's that extra value of it being March's light cone, but that is a lot of copium since we can't actually see the weapons like we can in Genshin. Oh well. Anyway, March is using Gepard's light cone, and I notice it's actually kind of a problem because it increases taunt value, and we want Gepard to be the one getting attacked, so I can't wait to actually get a good, or I guess next patch I'll be able to get This Is Me on her. But for now, she's kind of sharing it with him. It doesn't really do much for her damage. Like her E4 gives some extra scaling, defense scaling to her follow-up attacks, which by the way, is probably the best part about her kit, aside from her freeze. March has 3 follow-up attacks per turn if enemies hit a shielded character. Shielded ally, so you can really take advantage of this in shield teams, and I think this is the way to go when we build March for later on. Again, you can kind of see how much damage she's doing on average, and it's not bad. Like, she's contributing a good amount. It's all the extra chip damage as well as the break. She breaks so much toughness from her ults, her follow-up attacks, that she definitely has hidden value that you don't normally see. Like, a lot of people will look at the damage numbers and be like, okay, she's mediocre or she's not good. If you time her ult well, if you use her correctly, like 30k on a random ult, it is 5 targets, but again, it's not nothing, right? She's contributing a good amount as a sub DPS, and I think that's actually a good way to play her. Unlike some of the other builds I've tried, like sub DPS March is someone I'll actually play with, just like Fire Trailblazer. They definitely won't be the solo sustain on a team. Like, you can make it work, but they're much better off if you build them damage, I find. I could be wrong, we don't know yet. I guess it depends a lot on future characters, but yeah, March will synergize a lot with shield characters and ice teammates as well, just because all that freeze. And I think late game content, especially if you're at a halt, you definitely are lacking survivability, and freezes, imprison, entanglement, all of those effects really help push you, and you can just focus on damage instead. So again, this is a good team to showcase pretty average damage, right? We're not doing a crazy amount of damage. We don't have a main DPS. We have Pella, right? This is March 7th, pretty mediocre build. Gopard full tank. Pella is built as a DPS, but I always have her as a DPS. And then Tingyan, she's got the 4-star version of Coggers, Memories of the Past. Memories of the Past? Is that what it's called? And Von Whack. So she gets a 3-turn alt rotation guaranteed. And this way we can get March's ult going very often. Speaking of which, normally I'd run an ER rope on a character like March, but because she gets so many follow-up attacks and each follow-up attack generates energy, she doesn't need one. So you can safely build her defense rope or attack percent rope. Defense rope if you're going for This Is Me with that extra defense scaling, or if you're just trying to give her more shielding. And attack percent rope if you're trying to get more chip damage. Unfortunately, the defense scaling from E4 isn't a whole lot, so attack percent rope is better for her damage, and unless you have This Is Me, again, her ult only scales off of attack, so that's why you want to focus more on attack percents. And her shield base scaling values are already pretty high. They don't really care too much about her defense because they have like plus 600 at level 8, like a flat value instead of a percentage. So yeah, you're pretty safe to build her as a sub DPS. Just don't expect her to solo sustain if you do that, and you should have a lot of fun using her. I think you'll be quite surprised at the end when you see her build. Like, she's doing good damage and it's constant. She's always doing the follow-up attacks. She's always hitting enemies. She's always freezing them, getting a lot of break damage too. That's another thing. You could actually get break effect pieces on March and she'd do a ton of break as well, which is something I've thought about. And look at this, right? She gets so much energy just from follow-up attacking. It's actually nuts. I'm not joking when I say I think March has potential in the future, like not as a top meta unit, of course, but she's definitely a solid character and she's very fun to play with. So if you've left your March sitting on the bench, or you're done clearing Memory of Chaos and you don't need her because you have a Loacho or Bailu, try this sub DPS build. I think you will enjoy it. But yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, but this Void Ranger does not have ice weakness, so it does get a little rough at the end in terms of damage. And again, this Memory of Chaos cycle in 1.2 was not ice friendly. So sorry to all the Yangqing mains. It's been a rough ride. I'm sure you'll get your time to shine in the next patch, as well as March 7, Pella, March 7. It's really late and I have not slept yet, and it's been a pretty busy week, so not as many videos going out. I guess I've still uploaded a good amount, but I plan on doing at least one every 2 days. Sometimes I'll get daily uploads, but often you'll see 3 to 4 videos a week, and that's my plan at least. I think right now we're at March 7th complete. DPS Natasha's next, but first, I need to focus on Dan Hung, Imbibitor Lune. That's how they pronounce him in the trailer. That's how I'm going to pronounce him. But yeah, new character. Definitely going to make a couple videos on him. And oh, I want to see if you know the answer to this. If you've been paying attention, these enemies have been getting burned and they're taking fire dot. Try to figure out. Let me know in the comments what you think it is. It should be pretty straightforward if you've seen all the... I can't say too much or else I'll just give it away, but I'm sure you'll know exactly why they're getting burned. And the first person to comment what it is will get a cookie. Anyway, I think we are going to... So, I've seen a lot of people asking, how far are you going to go with Eidolons in this game? I don't plan on getting any Eidolons for DPS characters, because to me, if I get any, it invalidates. It feels like I'm invalidating the other damage dealers I have, just because, not that I care too much about power or strength, but it just makes certain characters feel obsolete if I invest in them. I'm not sure if you know what I'm trying to say, but pretty much if I have like a decked out Imbiber Lane and I don't know what else I'd use aside from him. Like, I love using all the characters in the game. I don't have a personal favorite. Like, okay, I am a Qingque biased fan, but aside from her, I want to play as many characters as possible, and getting in a high Eidolon DPS kind of ruins the experience with the other ones. So for me, I'm only staying E0, and that way I don't decrease the value of the other ones. Anyway, you can see I'm missing so many traces on March. Look at this. The talent and ult are level 10, which is good, but skill very low level. That can definitely be improved. We're missing 2 major traces, and they're actually pretty significant, especially this one, and then a lot of ice traces. But yeah, 15,000 credits. I am broke. 4-piece Glacial Forest. This is my favorite set for all these ice characters. And yeah, you can definitely use Tingyun and future energy restoring units to enable that. E4, very good Eidolon, adds defense scaling and 1 extra charge. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching all the way to the end as always, and I will see you next time.